you. You just want to stop talking. Can hardly blame you. All right. So I had mine on note cards. Unfortunately, I only have 2 hands right now. So this is going to help me to remember to do things like thank everybody for coming again, especially those of you who have traveled great distances. San Diego, East Coast, Portland, Oregon, Louisiana, yeah, Chicago. A lot of people have come a long ways, and we hope the pizza was good.
Pizza was wonderful.
Pizza was a hit. Let's see. So 9 months. That's how long, well, 8 months and change, how long it's been since this adventure of ours started. We've gone a long way in 9 months. We've gone from 0 to almost 2 million items up for sale now. We've gone from 0 to near 1 million visitors per month. Have no idea when people are being referred from Amazon anymore. We've gone from 0 to almost 700 subscribing members to the site, who kind of the lifeblood of the site, helping us to keep the ship running and buy more servers and do all the good stuff we have to do to keep the site running. From 0 to now the 20th biggest website in Western Washington, in great company with a lot of websites that have been around for 5 years, that have 10 to 20 employees. It's really, really incredible, I think, what we've accomplished so far, and trying to think about what's made the growth possible. A friend of mine recently sent me an article from Malcolm Gladwell in the New Yorker. I wanted to read a snippet from this article, which I think is relevant. However, it occurs to me as I stand here that snippet is in the other room. So I'm going to go get it. Just a second.
Do any lounge singers in here that can entertain us?
Karaoke. Come on, Mark, sing.
I just,
sing.
I don't know what to sing.
Just
Do I have any requests from the crowd? Anybody? Any lounge singers in here? Anybody? No? Knock, knock. Patch. God bless you. Now I hand it back over to Bill.
God. That was very
Well done. What we need is a podium.
I know.
Bonanzle up 2010. We're going to totally have a podium.
Huge.
Capital investment.
We need a gold one.
So this article was entitled "How David Beat Goliath," and written by Malcolm Gladwell, wrote Blink and Outliers and a lot of my favorite books. And he's talking about basically how a small group of determined people can make a dent against much greater competition. He uses an example, Lawrence of Arabia, and how that situation came about in the First World War. And so I'm just going to read a quick snippet from this article. Consider T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia, led the revolt against the Ottoman army occupying Arabia near the end of the First World War. The British were helping the Arabs in their uprising, and the initial focus was Medina, the city at the end of a long railroad the Turks had built, running south from Damascus through the Hejaz Desert. The Turks had amassed a large force in Medina, and British leadership wanted Lawrence to gather the Arabs and destroy the Turkish garrison there before the Turks could threaten the entire region. But when Lawrence looked at his ragtag band of Bedouin fighters, he realized a direct attack on Medina would never succeed. It would have taken the city matter anyways. The Turks sat in Medina on the defensive, immobile. There were so many of them, consuming so much food and water, that they would hardly make a move across the desert. Instead of attacking the Turks at their point of strength, Lawrence reasoned, he had to attack them where they were weak, along the vast, unguarded length of the railway line that was their connection to Damascus. Instead of focusing the attention on Medina, he should wage war over the broadest territory possible. So under Lawrence's command, they weren't conventional and they weren't skilled troops. These were nomads. One of the British commanders called them an untrained rabble who've never fired a rifle. But they were tough and they were mobile. The typical Bedouin soldier carried no more than a rifle, 100 rounds of ammunition, 45 pounds of flour, and a pint of drinking water, so they could move fast across the desert. Our hitting cards were speed and time, not hitting power, Lawrence wrote. Our largest available resources were tribesmen, quite unused to formal warfare, whose assets were movement, endurance, individual intelligence, knowledge of the country, and courage. So what they did, in one typical stretch during the spring of 1917, they dynamited 60 railroads, cut a telegraph line, sabotaged trains. These guys were just creating widespread havoc rather than going after this city that everybody thought would be the common sense place to attack, which is where the enemy was lying, but without the right people to attack it, he decided to use their effort and go over a wider area and take use the strengths of his forces rather than use the conventional way that this objective could be achieved. And so Lawrence's masterstroke was an assault on the port town of Aqaba. The Turks expected an attack from British ships patrolling the waters of the Gulf of Aqaba to the west. Lawrence decided to attack from the east instead, coming at the city from the unprotected desert. And to do that, he led his men on an audacious 600-mile loop, up from the Hajjaj Desert, north into the Syrian desert, and back down toward Aqaba. This was in the summer, through some of the most inhospitable land in the Middle East, and Lawrence tacked on a side trip to the outskirts of Damascus just to mislead the Turks about where he was going to be attacking from. But when they finally arrived in Aqaba, Lawrence's band of several hundred warriors killed or captured 1,200 Turks and lost 2 men. The Turks simply did not think their opponent would be mad enough to come at them from the desert. This was Lawrence's great insight. David can beat Goliath by substituting effort for ability. And substituting effort for ability turns out to be a winning formula for underdogs in all walks of life. So when I read that article, I thought, well, yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing here. We're a marketplace that started 8 months ago in a space that is extremely mature. You know, you look at the Power Sellers Unite auction counts, and there's 25 different marketplaces. There's that one site, whatever, with their 27 million items, and there are many millions of users. And then you have the Bonanzle team and the Bonanzle community, and you look, what are our qualifications? Mark's qualifications for building a marketplace were that he sold flowers. My qualifications for building a marketplace was that I was good at designing video games for 12-year-old girls. But what we did have is we had effort. We have people like Alex, who's willing to, wake up in the middle of the night to make sure that the server can stay up. People like Jordan, who's been working on the site, helping me program it for 2 years, using his weekends. He could be doing fun stuff. And we have people like Mark, who has been working 7 days a week, many hours a day since, June of 2008, answering whatever questions come up, answering whatever community concerns come up. And I'm still dreading the inevitable day I know that's coming where you're going to have your shining moment. And I'm going to wake up and have 20 emails from people that I asked Mark about Google Base, and all he'll write back is all work and no play makes Mark a dull boy. We're going to crack, but hopefully not for a while. And I think we look at our community as well, and what are the qualifications of our community to build a site like Bonanzle? I mean, we have people from all different walks of life. We have people that were experienced sellers, yes, but we have people that had never sold anything before. We have people that were run off of other sites. We just have a very diverse group of people who, when you think about the typical way that a marketplace is supposed to be built, with 50,000 item power sellers who bring vast talent and expertise to the site, what's happening is that effort is being substituted for that experience or for maybe that talent. And our sellers are willing to do stuff such as, I made a list. Publishing to Google Base, chiming in positive comments to the blogs and articles that are written about Bonanzle,